Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Anna and I'm a little bit spooky. And today we're going over my 2020 makeup favorites. I actually don't have like that insane amount. I was really kind of cutthroat with it this year and just looked at the products that I reached for the absolute most, and those are the ones that made the cut this year. I stand by all of my favorites from last year, so if you're interested in seeing other products that I have loved over the years, I will link that video in the eye. But today we're going to talk about the things that just really spoke to me in 2020, things that just made me feel good and made me feel pretty, and just makeup that I absolutely adored. Before we get into this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. Comment down below, let me know some beauty products that just made your heart sing in 2020. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, I think I'm gonna just go in the order of how I do my makeup, which is a little all over the place. But we're just gonna start with eyeshadow palettes, because also eyeshadows are kind of my favorite thing in general. So yeah, I have a small selection here. I think this is the category that I actually have the most of. I loved a lot of palettes this year. Some that I just didn't get to reach for as much as I wanted to, such as the Mercury Retrograde from Huda Beauty. This was just such a beautiful palette. I loved it so much. I think it came out in the previous year. I don't know when these products came out. They're just products that I used in 2020. Let's put it that way. Yeah, Mercury Retrograde, I absolutely loved. The color story is not like the most everyday palette. Like, it's a very kind of pastel and very spacey, sci-fi vibes, very vaporwave looking, which is what drew me into the palette. And it is absolutely gorgeous, and I can't wait to use it some more this coming spring. But this was just a palette that I adored and wished I could have used more throughout the year. It was one that I just didn't get the opportunity to, but loved so much, and it stood out to me. Next is another palette that came into my life this year that has been out quite some time actually. But this is the Too Faced Chocolate Gold. I got this gifted to me from my bestest friend. It was my bridesmaid's gift, and this palette is just such a good palette. I mean, look at these colors. Jewel tones are the way to my heart anyway. It smells really good, and I thought the quality of this one was just absolutely beautiful, and it performs so well, and I loved every look I did with this palette. But this was another one that didn't get as many opportunities as I would like to have to reach for, just because, you know, we didn't get to go out and do a lot of glam looks as often this year, and this would definitely be just like a go-to glam look palette for me, and I highly recommend it. It's on sale a lot, so if it's something that you've had your eye on, go ahead and pick it up when it's on sale, because they mark it as like 20-something dollars, 30-ish. It's worth it, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. The quality of this one is just phenomenal, and the shades in it are gorgeous. I have two from Melt Cosmetics that I absolutely adore this year. This one came out a while ago, but I got my hands on it finally in 2020, and that is the Gemini palette. Ugh, do I even need to say how much I love the Gemini palette? It's my kind of color story right here. These weird greens and these mustardy golden tones. I love it so much. I've used it quite a bit on my channel. I think I have a lot of looks. I have a whole playlist with this palette, so if that interests you, I will also link that in the eye. But Gemini was just one I absolutely adored. I got a lot of versatility out of it, and it was just a gorgeous palette. I love it for spring. I love it for fall. I love it year round. And also for Melt was the She's and Parties palette. Again, I also have a playlist with this one. This one to me is just a beautiful winter time palette, a very romantic palette. It is just gorgeous. I love the whole gothic theme of the palette, you know, it being inspired by the Bauhaus song She's in Parties, and then it having all the shade names, which were songs within the kind of goth dark wave genre. Really spoke to me. All around a palette that I love everything about. I love the colors in it, and I just love the whole aesthetic of the palette, of course. But yeah, I loved this one, and I think the shades in it are absolutely gorgeous. A very fun, sultry, romantic, gothic palette. One that came into my life a little bit later in the year was the Sigma Untamed. I was so blown away with the quality of this palette and just the versatility. It is also a fantastic everyday palette that you can bring into a glam look. It is gorgeous. You have such a nice variety in here. You can get cool tone looks, you can get warm tone looks. You got a nice fun blue, you got some lavender purples in here, some reds, some greens. Like, all these colors are colors that I adore, and I have loved every look that I've created with this palette, and it's just such an easy palette. is incredibly easy to work with. This is one that I would recommend to beginners, people who are advanced in makeup, more mature skin, because the shadows are just so graceful. There's something very graceful about these shadows and the formula. It is a beautiful formula, and I can't wait to get more palettes from Sigma because I was just so impressed with this one. It's a palette that I want to use like every day since I've gotten it. For the palette that I used, hands down the most, made my heart sing, fell in love, my holy grail, number one, just soulmate palette this year was Naked Honey from Urban Decay. I know this came out like, what? Oh my goodness, I don't know how long ago. It's been out. It's been out. This palette has just brought me so much love and so much comfort. It is all the shades I love, of course. I adore mustard honey colors. This is my favorite type of color story, is just these really yellowy, kind of sickly tones, or golden amber honey colors that I love them so much. I love the browns in this palette, and I was so impressed with the quality. It had been a minute since I had used a Naked palette. I think the last Naked palette I'd played with was Naked Cherry. The quality, I feel like, has come such a long way. Like the formula they used in this palette was just absolutely gorgeous. It blends so easy. I mean, it's what I got on my eyes today, by the way, obviously. It is such a user-friendly palette, and if you love monochromatic looks and honey tones, this is the one. This is the one. I would have to say probably my absolute favorite palettes that I own, just because of the colors, and I found myself literally reaching for this almost every day in 2020 for like my everyday looks. For if I was going into the shop to work or something, I would throw a look on with this. If I wanted to do a little more glam, I would use this one. I found so many ways to use it, and I have loved every single look I've done with this palette. Every single one. So yeah, that is my eyeshadow palettes that I loved this year, and I love the way today's look came out. I'm feeling myself today, okay? I haven't done glam in a couple of weeks, and like just sat down and really just play with makeup, not really done a tutorial or anything. I kind of just filmed a look for B-roll, but just sat here and enjoyed myself and did some makeup, and I absolutely just had a lovely time. I had two eyeliner loves this year that just got me. One was a layer discovery, and that is the Sigma Wicked Gel Liner Pencil. This is the best black eyeliner I've ever used. I love a good black eyeliner, and this one is so soft. It just goes right into the waterline perfectly. It pretty much stays put. I love it. I really do. It came with the palette. I got it as a gift with purchase. This is a black eyeliner that I will happily repurchase at a higher price point because it's good. Another more expensive eyeliner is the Pillow Talk eyeliner from Charlotte Tilbury. This is such a unique shade eyeliner. It is like a bloody red almost, with a little bit of purple in it. It can pull a little brown depending what you pair it with. It is absolutely gorgeous. The formula of this eyeliner has to be one of the absolute best formulas I've ever used. Like, this literally stays put in my waterline. It does not budge. I can wear it all day. I love it so much, and I love the weird kind of odd shade it is. It's like a kind of maroon burgundy red, and to see that from like a more luxury kind of high-end, not big into taking risks type of brand like Charlotte Tilbury, I was really impressed, and haven't quite found a dupe of it. I know a red eyeliner or reddish tone eyeliner sounds totally and just not flattering, but this is one of the most flattering eyeliners, I think, in existence. They also have it in the No Walk of Shame, which I think is slightly deeper. I'm not sure, but I was just really taken with the Pillow Talk liner. You can see I've sharpened her down quite a bit, and I'm not happy with going through it as fast as I am, because I reach for it quite often. Two mascaras that stole my heart this year was the It Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. Loved it so much. It's a kind of a unique formula. It's very messy. That's the only downside to it. It did something magical for my lashes. I'm not big into high-end mascaras at all. Like, I just think that is kind of one of the most excessive things to spend money on, when I can go and get me an Essence Lash Princess in the mint colored bottle. This is the False Lash Effect, and get incredible results. Like, I've never had a mascara perform as good as the Lash Princess from Essence, and it's like $3. You can get like a 2-pack half the time at Ulta on sale. This hands down is the best mascara I've ever used in my life. It pushed Lash Paradise right out of my drawer. This is my number one forever like best mascara right now. And but the It Cosmetics Superhero definitely came close. They're not the same beast. They're totally different types of mascaras, but they both give me really good volume, length, and everything that I look for in a mascara. Superhero might just be one high-end one that I would be willing to repurchase because I like the results of it. Okay, let's talk about some Complexion products. For primer, this primer is gotta be one of the best things I've ever used in my life. This is one of the first primers that really, like, I saw such a dramatic difference and really saw the merit in it, and that is the L'Oreal Magic Perfecting Base. This is like the putty primer from e.l.f. on steroids. I'm not a fan of the putty primer, but this changed the game for me. This is like one of those marshmallowy, pillowy, just fill in every single pore, look like Facetune. This is Facetune in a jar. It is one of the best primers I've ever used. It can be a little drying if you don't like a kind of mattifying, very silicone primer. You're not gonna like this, or anything like kind of like the e.l.f. putty primer. You're not gonna be a fan, but I adore this one. What it has done for my skin this year was amazing. Like, what pores? So good. So good. And then moving on to foundation, I have a couple of foundations that I liked in 2020. One is the number 7 Protect and Perfect Advanced All-in-One Foundation. This one, girl, this was my absolute favorite this year. This was my go-to every single day type of foundation. It has light to medium high coverage. You can build it really well. It's got SPF 50 in it, and I'm not allergic to it. It doesn't have a great shade range. However, that's the biggest downside to it, is that the shade range is kind of garbage. The lightest shade is like my perfect match, which doesn't often happen. I mean, I love the way it looks on my skin. My skin looks fresh. It looks youthful. It looks plump, healthy, all the things I want. I really got into more of a lighter coverage this year, and that was one of the products that I just found so easy, effortless, and just gave my skin a perfected skin. Like, look, like I could still see my freckles through it because I kind of shear it out. I don't build it up heavy. I could see my freckles. I could still see my skin. It was just taking down the redness and looking like my skin, of how I want my skin to look. In a similar vein, but with a little bit heavier of a coverage, is the Born to Glow from NYX. I adored Born to Glow. I don't think many people really cared about this one, but I loved it. This is very much like a L'Oreal Pro Glow. Similar type of product. It's that radiant, not dewy finish. Like, it sets down, but it gives you that skin-like appearance, and you can shear this out and wear it as a light coverage, or you can build it up and get quite a bit of full coverage out of it. And it's very versatile. It's just natural, radiant, looks like your skin, but better. One's a little bit too deep for me, one's a little too light for me, so I just mix 2 shades. But they do have quite a bit more of an extensive shade range than the number 7. They actually have a fairly good shade range. Which brings me into concealers. The Born to Glow concealer. I don't think anybody seemed to like this concealer, but I adored it. I loved it. I thought it looked really pretty on the under eyes and gave you good coverage without being heavy. I didn't feel like it creased or got weird or anything like that. Like, I really enjoyed it, and it was one I reached for on a very consistent basis. It has a pretty decent shade range as well, and I think it has a really pretty finish. It's very highly pigmented, but very thin. And in a similar vein is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. Ooh, this is a good concealer. Like, I like the original one. I liked the original one. The mattifying, this stole its place. This has stole the place of every concealer, basically. Between these two, I had some good concealer days. But the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer was just my number 1. Love it so much. Favorite concealer, because you can control the coverage in it. It has a huge shade range, for one thing. I have the lightest shade, which is Fair Rose. It is a hair too light for me, but I tend to wear a little bit more sheer. I don't go full ham with it, which you see in the demo. I kind of pat it on, sheer it out, and it just gives me a nice highlighted look, a brightened look, which I do like. It gives me the coverage I need, and it just looks so skin-like, natural, beautiful under the eye. I really got into products that look like skin this year. I'm over heavy complexion products. So I've been kind of branching out, trying ones that I feel like can give me that glam look without looking like a mask. You know what I mean? I want the glam, but I want it to look like me at the same time. I really liked two powders this year. Both are from number 7, which you can get Walgreens, Target, and I think Ulta carries some of their products. Again, garbage shade range. Number 7, do something about that. Your shade range is absolute trash, but the products are so damn good. If not better than high-end. Like on par, if not better than high-end quality. The freaking... I mean, the formulas of these powders are so beautiful. Specifically, the number 7 Lift and Illuminate Triple Action Translucent Finishing Powder. Love it. I love this one. I use it as a finishing powder kind of around my face. It has a slight, not glow. It just has a natural finish, and it just helps keep that skin-like appearance on the face without it looking powdery. It is absolutely a beautiful product. I think this is the one that's a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury airbrush, because this does give you a very airbrush soft look. Like, it's a fantastic powder. I also love the other pressed powder from them, but I just now kind of started using it, and this is one that I reach for every single day in 2020. I don't use a whole lot. Obviously, I haven't hit pan. I use a very light hand with my powders, but it was magical. I love it so much, and we'll probably continue to repurchase that one. And then as far as loose powder to set my under eyes and kind of around the face on a damp sponge, I really, really love the number 7 Translucent Perfect Light Loose Powder. This one also, like, it gives you that Facetune type of look. It makes your skin look so perfect without looking powdery. And the translucent shade in this one is a shade that just worked so well on my skin tone. I have a hard time with translucent powders. Either they look too white or they look too yellow. It's a hard time with the undertones for me, or they'll darken my under eye. This one just did beautifully. It did what I want a translucent setting powder to do. You can bake with it if you want to, and it looks great. You can wear it just as a light dusting, which is typically more what I do. Or I take my little, beauty blender that's damp and kind of press it into the skin with a very small amount of product. That's my favorite way to use it. It locks in my makeup, but doesn't make me look powdery. And speaking of complexion, the e.l.f. little beauty sponge here, this color one, I'll put on the screen which one it is because I'm blanking on what it's called. Just this one. I don't know what it is about the texture. It's very squishy, kind of porous, and I feel like it just makes my makeup look amazing. It's my favorite makeup sponge I've ever used. I've used a lot of different ones, and this one is just fantastic. Great price point because it's from e.l.f. You can get it at Walmart, your drugstore, wherever. This was one that I just loved so much and want to use every day. Like, I wash it every day and use it, and I've had this particular one probably for a couple of months, maybe longer, I don't know. And it's held up so well. Like, I haven't been able to tear one of these up yet. And I'm pretty harsh on my sponges. I scrub them every single day, soap and water. These hold up so well. There's no need to spend beauty blender money anymore. Get you an e.l.f. sponge. Setting spray, I was just every day using the natural finish from Wet n Wild. Again, incredibly affordable. I don't know if it's comparable really to the All Nighter, which is typically my go-to type of setting spray, but this one is damn good. It just makes your skin look beautiful. Love it. Just had to throw that in there. I use it every single day I do makeup. For bronzer last year, I kind of used something that I don't think is marketed as a bronzer. These are marketed as blushes, I believe, but these are the Melt Digital Dust Blush. Yeah, Digital Dust Blushes, and the Split Pan. This is from the Royal collection, and this shade called Queen Bee I used as bronzer this year. Fantastic bronzer. Fantastic. And I know it looks super metallic in the pan, and if you swatch it really heavy, it will look like an eyeshadow. And on deeper skin tones, my god, this would be such an amazing highlighter. But for me, with a light hand, it made a fantastic bronzer. It's what I got on today as my bronzer. I feel like it just gives my skin a natural, luminous look. I like a luminous skin, obviously. I don't like heavily matte products. I know this one looks just so shiny, but trust me, with a light hand dusted around the face, if you're fair like me, it's a really good one. And it is a little warm. You can kind of dip into either side, wherever you're going for. I like that gold and this color together. It just, I think, looks really good. It has worked with just about every makeup look for me. Reach for it constantly as a bronzer. Love it so much. And then moving on to blush, I want to mention the other two in Royal Blush Collection from Melt, Buzzkill and Raw Honey. Loved both of these, particularly Raw Honey. Girl, I fell in love with Raw Honey. It's a little bit cooler, but it does have like a warmth in it at the same time. It's a very unique shade. Like it's really hard to describe. Like it has a coolness in there, but then it also has a warm flash in it as well. Beautiful, beautiful product. I like to use the more pigmented colorful side as my blush and then bring in this side as more of a blush topper, fading into my highlight because these are a little too deep to use as highlighters on myself. I use these as blushes. I used them as eyeshadows on just really quick days and they perform just beautifully. I know, again, they look super shiny in the pan, but they don't really look like that on the skin unless you build them up, which you really can do if you wanted to. But I just kind of do a light hand and I think they are stunning, and I really want to get some more digital dust blushes because I love these so much. At least one of the highlighters from Melt as well because I really like the formula of these. There's something emollient about it. It's a very unique texture that I haven't quite come across. They can build up to be super metallic if you want to, or just super sheer and beautiful. Like they're great. This one I also really like because it's just a nice peachy gold shade and it's beautiful for springtime. I'm looking forward to reaching for this one during the spring. Raw Honey was just my go-to like crazy. Like it was my default setting almost. And two more blushes that I absolutely adore this year were from e.l.f. These are the primer infused blushes in Always Cheeky and Always Spicy. I have on Always Spicy today, and in the pan it looks like it is super dark, and it is. It is super pigmented and super dark. Very deep rust terracotta, but with a light hand on my skin tone, I love it. It looks like that very scarlety, blood comes to the surface, warm color. And I like it because it doesn't go pink and too blue based on me. With a light hand, I love it so much. I just really tap the brush off. These primer infused blushes are incredibly pigmented. I think they can work on a multitude of skin tones and be fantastic for a lot of people. Especially this one. I would love to see this one on a deeper skin tone as well. And then Always Cheeky, which is kind of the lighter counterpart to that one. It's in the same kind of color family. It's that peachy, warm type of shade that doesn't have a whole lot of pink in it. This one was just an easy, effortless, didn't have to think about it, go-to blush for just the day-to-day. They're very versatile products and they are really affordable because they're from e.l.f. And you know where I got these? At my local little grocery store right by my house that doesn't have makeup, but they have just like a random e.l.f. display. That's where I got them, and they were really cheap. Another thing I picked up at that little grocery store that became a favorite this year is the e.l.f. Metallic Flare in White Gold. This is the perfect pale girl highlight. It just works on my skin tone, but it's not pinky and it's not icy. It still has that little bit of gold in there, and it just has been my every single day type of highlighter. I use it literally every day. I've put a little dent in there, and I don't think it's overly metallic or gives you texture or emphasizes texture really. You can build it up and make it pretty metallic if you wanted to. Again, I just use it on like a small brush or a fan brush or something and get just a nice glow from it, and I think it is a beautiful product, and I just love the shade so much. I could sit here and talk all day about lip products that I loved because there's that many, like as far as shades go, so I really try to be concise and talk about the things that I really just want to use every single day. So I'll start with lip liners. Pillow Talk lip liner from Charlotte Tilbury was one that I reach for constantly. It's just my perfect kind of your lips but better type of shade. Loved it so much. And the Milani Understatement lip liner in Shoop. This is what I got on today. I love a brown lip liner. I just ordered one of the brown ones from Vive, from Jamie Genevieve's brand. Really excited. She influences me way too much. But anyway, this one I loved it so much. I love that chocolatey, like this is a true like brown with a yellow undertone. It's very unique to me and not something I would think would work on me, but I make it work and I like it. I just really like it. So these two, and then the Wet n Wild gel lip liners. I like two shades basically. I like Lay Down the Mauves, and I think it's Bare to Comment were the two that I reached for the most. They're just really nice lip liners. But I'm really impressed with the Charlotte Tilbury lip liners and the Milani ones. And I have to get me some more because I love them. I'm going to need a backup of Shoop because that one was just so good. And speaking of shoop, it was actually a lip kit, and it came with the lipstick, and the lipstick is what I'm wearing today with a gloss over top, but this lipstick was just my go-to. And I'm hoping that the lipstick I ordered from Beve is similar, because I think it kind of looks similar. But this is a nice chestnut brown nude type of shade, can work on a ton of skin tones. This one is a little bit pinker, a little bit more cool undertone in comparison to the lip liner, so it gives it a really cool contrast and gives you that really 90s overlined lip look, and I love that. So loved it so much, and I would wear it with different lip liners as well, depending on the look I was going for. If I wanted to pull more pink, I would wear it with a less brown lip liner, just a, you know, Your Lips But Better type of lip liner, like Pillow Talk or something. And it did beautiful, and beautiful formula. The Statement Mattes from Milani, I also have to say, just the formula themselves is really good. I love the packaging. I think they look chic. They're lipsticks I would like to see out on my vanity type of thing. And Sheep was just my heart this year. Hands down my favorite lipstick of all of 2020. But some close seconds were these two from L'Oreal. These are L'Oreal Paris matte lip crayons. I don't think everybody liked these, from what I'm gathering. These were in some people's fails. I love these. These are like mask proof, fantastic lipsticks, but particularly I was in love with the shade Flirty Toffee and Smooth Caramel. Oh, I loved them so much. I also really like Smooth Caramel paired with the Milani lip liner, the Sheep lip liner. That looked really pretty with it. But this is just a really kind of peachy terracotta, and then you have the burnt red deep type of shade, which I love. These are my kind of colors, and I love these. They lasted me all day. I would wear them a lot on days I had to go in and work at the shop, and they just lasted me all day. The Superstay Matte Ink in Cocoa Connoisseur from the Chocolate Collection from Maybelline. This color is one of my absolute favorite lip colors. This formula is beautiful, by the way. Very easy to wear, thin, comfortable, not super drying. It's just a beautiful liquid lipstick. It's got a great applicator on it, and I love this color so much. It was a color that I reached for quite a bit. It is a little bit more red warm than this one. Like this one can pull a little bit cooler depending what you pair it with, whereas this one is more browny, warm yellow undertone, where this one kind of has a little bit more of a blue undertone. And then I think this was in my last year's favorite, but this is just kind of my other holy grail forever love lipstick, and that is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Liquid Lipstick in Cowboy. It is a deep terracotta, dusty terracotta shade. It's a very interesting color. I can't really describe it. On me, it comes a little dark, but it looks really good. It's kind of one of my everyday type of shades, just because it's easy. This formula is phenomenal. Talk about not go nowhere. Meal proof, life proof, mask proof. But Cowboy is just a very odd, it's a terracotta with a little bit pink in it, a little bit of dustiness, a little bit of gray in there. Like it's pretty weird, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I think it could work on a ton of skin tones as well. I think all these shades actually are beautiful across the board on just about everybody. I can't think of somebody these shades would work on. And lastly for lipstick is Pillow Talk. I just have the mini of it, and I fell in love with this. This was another everyday go-to if I was just really doing soft makeup and not wanting any real attention on the lips, which is rare because I usually always go with a bold lip or a bolder lip. I'm not shy about my lipsticks. But Pillow Talk was one that I just kind of reached for when I wanted a no-brainer lipstick and just wanted to do something pretty. Love it so much. I bought it for my mother-in-law for her Christmas because I feel like this is a color that can work for so many people. And they also have the Pillow Talk in different editions now, like a deeper one for more skin tones, which is fantastic because it's supposed to be like a Your Lips But Better type of thing. I like the whole Pillow Talk range. I just think it's really beautiful, and I kind of wish I'd gotten that whole huge vault of everything. Another thing I come to appreciate this year, oddly, was lip gloss. Even though lip glosses and masks are not your friend, they don't tend to play well together. I really don't let the mask dictate my makeup, to be honest with you. I wear what I want. If I gotta put a mask over it, I don't care. I do it anyway. That was kind of one of my little personal challenges, was doing mask-proof makeup that was still like super glam. And sure, all my masks are completely stained with lipstick and makeup on the inside. Anyway, gloss doesn't usually play well with the mask depending how close your mask like pushes against your mouth. One that I picked up this year, I think it was on Taylor Wynn's recommendation, was the e.l.f. Plumping Gloss in Mocha Twist. It's what I have on over my lips today. This is one of the most beautiful lip gloss I ever used. It makes my lips look so full, so plump, so happy, and just juicy, and all the good things, and I love it. I kind of have thin lips. I don't have voluminous lips like I want. So I cheated with lip liner, obviously. I mean, you can tell I overline the shit out of my lips, right? So I cheated with lip liner, lipstick, and lip gloss, and this is one that I just absolutely love, especially like the combination of this one with the Sheep Lip Kit. And I also love this one with the Caramel Twist lipstick. I think they look so good together. And it was just a gloss I reached for anytime I wanted a gloss. And I surprised myself on the amount of times I reached for a gloss because of that. Like, I was never a gloss girl, and I picked the year we had to wear masks to become a gloss girl. And I didn't really have that much issues with it, but it can be troublesome, you know, with something that's going to smear around depending on how much your mask hits your lips. I got small lips, really, so it doesn't really hit them that much. I've got a big nose, so my nose kind of pulls the mask away from my mouth, so I kind of can get away with it a little bit. Brow products. Oh my gosh, most important thing here. I'm like super obsessed with eyebrows. Like, that is my just obsession, is my eyebrows. And 3 products that I just fell head over feet for in 2020 as far as brows go is oddly this super cheap brow pencil from e.l.f. This one is like $1.50 depending where you get it. The shade Deep Brown, it matches my back of my hair and my brow color perfectly. Well, it matches my brows when I tint them, which leads me to another favorite real quick. But the Instant Lift Brow Pencil, it's $1. And one lasts me a good month and a half, 2 months, 3 months sometimes. I love it. Great pencil. It's not the most precise. It's not super skinny, but it is really good. I tend to use it in conjunction with a skinny micro brow pencil, which is usually the e.l.f. one. Yeah, this one, I just quick, easy. I use it on glam days. I use it on every day. It's just my go-to brow pencil. I had 3 brow gels. I like brow gels. That's another weird obsession of mine. The Rimmel Wonderful Brow waterproof one in the darkest brown. Loved it. It did not budge. It stayed put. It was waterproof. Oh my goodness, it was so good. But a close second for me has been the Brow Fast Sculpt Studio from Maybelline. I'm really liking this one. The shade's a little bit lighter than I would like. It is the, I could go a little darker in this and be fine, but I use this one more on days now when my brow tint has faded and to give a little volume and pigment back to my brow hairs. I think the Wonderful Brow from Rimmel might beat it out. My new Holy Grail, absolute #1 brow product of life is the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. Thanks to Donna. This came in the giveaway. This is like the sample size, and I just fell in love. Like, I try to do soap brows. I love the look of soap brows, but it's just so impractical. I want like that laminated bushy brow look because I don't naturally have that. This is a lot of work. But anyway, between tinting my brows and this, I've had the best brows of my life, I think. In my opinion, I'm very pleased with the way my brows look these days. And I think most of it is to do with this because it makes my brow hairs go up, stay in place, not budge, because my brow hairs are very stubborn. They're thin, but they got a mind their own. These always want to just lay flat and go down, whereas these want to go curly and crazy. This just, oh, it does good things. The first time I used it, I was like, holy shit, I understand now. And I think this will be my #1 Holy Grail, gonna repurchase a million times type of product. I get it now. I understand. And lastly, for eyebrows and to round out this video, favorite thing was tinting my eyebrows at home with Just for Men. I use the, I think, soft black or natural black shade. It's cheap. It's like $5 and it'll last you forever. It can seem really intimidating, look really scary while you're doing it because I do use the natural black shade. The first time I did it, I was like, oh no, I made a mistake. And because it just turned like super black, it looked like a colored Sharpie all over my eyebrows and I freaked out a little bit. But once I rinsed it, oh my God, my brows look amazing. I have so many brow hairs. And it was actually a really soft, natural black color. It didn't look like it did, well, before you rinse it off. Like, it looks so scary before you rinse it. It just, the color was so perfect, or is so perfect, and it's what I've been using on my brows since I took the plunge on that and tinting them at home, saving a ton of money and not buying actual brow tint either. This is just for men, for beards, and for like facial hair. And you just take a spoolie, put it in the hairs, let it sit for 5 minutes, rinse it out, and you have got the most amazing brows ever. It does come in a variety of shades. Again, I like the natural black because I always love a bolder, deeper brow. Because I think it's just because I have like bleach blonde brows naturally that I want them to look the opposite, so I dye them black. So tinting my brows has just been an amazing game changer for me. I think my brow game in 2020 just elevated way up. And that is all my 2020 makeup favorites this year. I didn't buy a whole lot of makeup. I kind of had reined it in throughout the year and really picked up more drugstore stuff. I was more likely to be in a grocery store rather than I was Sephora this past year, obviously. So I ended up just making some really good drugstore discoveries and being really happy with them. But these were just products that I reached for every single day and felt like they all did something special. They impressed me. They were products that made me happy to use and felt good and just beautiful, stunning products that I think worth every cent and are very like high-end quality good. And they were just things that stayed on my vanity or within my rotation of everyday use. I didn't buy just every single launch that came out. I bought things that I wanted, things that spoke to me, things that made me happy and made sense in my makeup life, if that works, if that makes any sense to you. But they were just things that I thought were special and things that I thought were really good quality and just made the cut. And I was very frugal, I think, this past year and just like not buying a whole lot. The things I did get were things that I truly wanted and knew wouldn't disappoint me. So yeah, that is everything that I loved makeup wise in 2020. My skincare and lifestyle loves will be in the eye as well as last year's video. So I do stand by all those things I loved last year. These are just the things that came into my life this year and were special. That is all for today. I am burning up in here. I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe and stay spooky. Let me know your favorites makeup beauty products in the comments down below. Stay safe and stay spooky. Bye now. Happy 2021.